actually restarted as intended. Always fun when we get hardware failures. I don't know why that one card has been kind of pesky, put it best. It does look like we're up. So let me just get back in here. Little technical difficulties. All right. Back to Kerbal Space Program. Back to our career. We've got a lot, I think, in flight at the moment. And we're going to be adding to it today. So, we've got, besides all the space debris, we've got the Minmus encounter coming up for the probe up in about like 3 days or so. We have the moon encounter of our lander coming up in about a day. And that'll be our reusable lander. We have another reusable lander in orbit, which will go to Kerbin, or not Kerbin, Minmus, once I have the ability to get that one going. Really, I'm going to need a satellite network around Minmus first. I don't have anything there. Let's make sure I don't lose any comms. And, well, we've got the Jebediah Kerman Station loaded right now. We've got a crew of 3. We've got the 4-man transfer vehicle to Valentina Kerman Station in Mun orbit. Just never did deactivate a bunch of these engines, so we're just going to take a second to do that. Those are shut down, that's good. Those are shut down. Okay, what engines are still active? We have these still active. It would be a bit of a disaster if I accidentally queued one of these engines. So I'd rather just, you know, be safe. But alright, we've got a decent crew in here for at least utilizing the hardware. We've got the science lab getting us just a little bit of science, barely any science per day. We have barely any data to work on and barely any science to work on. So that's kind of the majority of it. We don't have any real experiments up on here at the moment. So we can go ahead, we can change that pretty soon. Might have Dunson just do a quick EVA, just to give us some more science that we can throw in there, or more data at least. Yeah, it's gonna end up being data. Store data. Okay. Yeah, that helps us out a little bit. Yeah, I'll have to get some experiments up on here. I do need a little more crew. I wish I had not left it so these could not be... Well, I don't know. Maybe I can get away with it. I was going to say if I could retract these would be better. Although it is a throwaway, so it would be kind of wasteful. I have to figure this out. Now I did want to launch a kind of docking adapter. For the K5s, so I could get a little more on them. K5 CLVs. So I'm going to mess with that for just a second. Reroute this to the docking port. Now let's start working on an adapter. So I wanted something to hang down on the nadir side of the station. And it needs to be long enough. It needs to be long enough that we're basically giving the extra clearance that the craft needs to not hit the station with the solar panels. There we go, that looks about right. Extra one there. Perfect. How would it look if I put, yeah, it'd be kind of cramped if I put just 4. So what we need structural is this guy, radial attachment point. Six of those. That looks pretty good. Now we can put the docks on. Beautiful. One more at the bottom. We'll need one more at the top. And this is probably, yeah, very heavy. So we're going to be launching this on a K-15. So with that in mind, there's actually a couple payloads I could launch with this. So I'm not going to worry about giving it a drone core just yet. Infrastructure. Let's add some lights here. Let's make it a little easier. See the docking nodes. Cool. So this is going to be one of the few dumb pieces of the Jebediah station. It won't have any capability really itself to do anything. It won't have a drone core on it. Let's put some RCS on here. Just to help whatever's pushing it in place do that accurately. That should do. Is there another, maybe, ooh. I like that. That looks kind of cool. White looks good too, but that looks pretty cool. Alright, now I could drain all the fuel from that and make it significantly lighter. I'm not going to resort to that yet. I might end up doing that, but... So we're going to put that on. We are going to put another docking adapter on as well for the transfer ship to dock nose first, which you cannot do right now. So I'll throw that on. I feel like I should probably give it a decent amount of space here. So what I'll do to help this whole configuration work a little better, maybe I won't. That would be probably a bad idea. I'll do it as, I was going to say I could put a structural tube in there and put some RCS in, but that could be kind of a pain in the butt. Instead, this is going to be the smart aspect. On the bottom, wouldn't I? So I can dock that first. This will be the smart aspect of the station, of the launcher, I mean. So this will have the that on there. I think I want that on there. I think I want that on there. Yep. X in there. Want some monoprop tanks. Kind of morph those into the adapter piece a little bit. That looks fine. Putting RCS there. We'll have repackable solar panels on this. Oop, oop. There we go. Looks like it'll clip a little bit, doesn't it? That looks better. We'll need some batteries. Need some RCS so it can control itself. Thrusters like that. Four thrusters like that. A little bit larger adapter than usual. Go. Only 10 tons so far. It's a good sign. Let's put some struts in here just to support this structure. Looks kind of goofy, but it'll work. And one more set. Set like that, just to make sure this all stays intact until we want to disconnect it. And that all looks pretty good. We still got some weight on there that we could be utilizing. Now we will need engine for this, which with this weight will end up being the AJ10 model. So what we're gonna do, we've already got one on the 3rd stage. We've got plenty of fuel here to dump into it. Yeah, I'm just gonna end up dumping fuel in. That's how I'm gonna do this. T18. Take some Separatrons. That should do pretty good. Fairing too will bring the weight up even further. So what I want to try and do real quick, if I've got enough remaining weight to mess with, throw some science modules up there. Put a reserve small docking node on there, just in case. Just in case of emergency. How are we doing on weight? Still pretty good. So I want to put some, let's see, more science-y stuff on there, but still have some more to do here. Single antenna. Yep, single antenna will do. Got some solar panels to power the experiments on here. Repackables. almost up to our tonnage limit. Almost is fine. I can live with almost. Because we can still then get some goo canisters on. Get a thermostat on. Kind of like morph it through that and move it out a little. Good enough. Got a thermometer on there. One of these breast bat doohickeys. Alright. There we go. External experiment bay. And I have it flipped as well. So I'm going to flip that back around, I think. How do I do that exactly? There we are. Some struts to hold that in place during the launch. Some lag there. Wow, the game is really struggling with those struts today. Oh, it's getting stuck on the equipment. Okay. Gotcha. Not sure what it was getting stuck on. There we are. It's still kind of light. I'm cool with it being kind of light. So, once again, let's do the RCS stabilizing. These. Alright. How is that not approaching my part count? Kinda is. It's definitely approaching the weight limit. Let's reroute the whole thing once more. Make sure that we're controlling from here. Now the fairing. There we go. Nice and aerodynamic. Look at that. grab the K-15. Which is remarkably few pieces. I forgot how few that really is. Not so bad on the part count. This might be ready to launch to the station. I'm going to just realized I didn't really put a lot of RCS on this, did I? I put some. Some is good and all. I should maybe have a little more. Some RCS here just again to stabilize. Should put a couple tanks. Just make sure we have enough RCS to do all the docking maneuvers we wanted to do. Nice. That looks good. Now, staging check. Oh man, my computer's not liking this at all. Considering what I have for a computer, this is a little absurd that it's lagging at all. Okay. Let's launch this bad boy. Whole bunch of station upgrades. Jedi called you bro style. All one launch. Actually, probably the more cost-effective way to do this. Putting it all on one rocket. Wow, KSP is not loving me today. Little ants on my computer. Don't like that, any. Florida. Ants. Is it foggy? Or is that just like a weird graphical anomaly? Looks like a weird graphical anomaly. Well, we're gonna wait for the station to come around. Gonna wait for it to be in a fairly good position for us to launch here. So we're not constantly waiting later on down the road. Definitely worth it to time your launch. That should do it. Now everything looks better. Alright, off we go. Nice and steady so far. We get to 10,000 meters, we'll start doing a prograde turn. seen the payload wobble out of the shroud. It's kind of scary. So keep going as steep as we can, as steep as the rocket allows, to this prograde train. Get some wobble. Getting some wobble, ladies and gentlemen. There is wobblage. Roll there. Stable once more. Alright, should probably start leveling out. We are overheating a little bit. Not enough to be terribly concerned, but there is a little bit of overheating going on. You really do need to like auto-strut everything in this game. There's the fairing. Pretty soon. Yep, there it is. I'm gonna ride that up through the last bits of the atmosphere. Add a maneuver to get us into orbit. Hopefully do a rendezvous. It's a little off. It's going to get ahead of us. Or we're going to get ahead of it, actually. So we really need to start going prograde now. So let's line that up. Start going a little bit prograde now. Get an intersect here. Never know, we could. That's gonna be about the same as if we go on the less dramatic route. Let's see, can we push for a second intersect? There we go. If we aim a little high, we can come down into it. It's pretty good. Got a lot of separation due to anyway, sorry. Thinking and not talking. A lot of separation due to our inclination. Like a significant amount. A little bit due to our timing. Just easily fixed. So we'll start moving for the upcoming maneuver here. I can more or less start moving the abundant fuel we have on the actual payload into the stage below us. Oh, no, don't track prograde, thank you. Always forget to disable that. Alright. Start dumping fuel in there. Make sure we got plenty for all the maneuvers we're about to do. Now before this damn thing runs out of battery, This is gonna like clip, isn't it? I didn't really plan that out. Let's see if it breaks on the strut or if it just goes through it. Just goes through it. Okay. I'm content with that. I'm content with Kerbal physics this time. We can take some science already. Oh yeah, that's gonna have some science in it. It's gonna have some science in it. There'll be some good stuff for them to bring into the lab. Be nice and patient here. We'll time warp a little bit. We've only got a 2-second burn. That should put us on an intersect. And then from the intersect we will do our final orbit correction to match the station. We'll have a nice quick rendezvous. A little bit of correction there. Let's make sure we had that just right. What's our actual intersect look like? 0.1 still. Not too shabby. Now we are going to do a stupid amount of maneuvers to make this work. So, one, we're going to be doing what's going to be more of a radial shift. And we're going to have to go prograde on top of that. So I want to just give myself an idea of how long it's going to take us to do this actual maneuver. Okay. So I got an idea of how to time it. You can see our second intersect is now lining itself up as we do that. As we adjust our course to match. That's rough, but that's about what it's going to take us. It's about going to take us 22 seconds of burning. So we're on target, and we're going to go to retrograde target. We're going to let the computer core help us a little bit there. So knowing that's going to take us about 22 seconds, I'm going to go ahead and cancel this node. I'm going to drop us into a new node. So that doesn't distract me at all. And 11 seconds from closest intersect with the target, which is the station, we will be doing our retrograde burn. We should be above it at this point, and I don't see the station. Do I have the F4 indicator off? I do. There it is. So as you can see, we're rapidly descending, actually. So this is going to be to cancel out that and then increase the last bit of our acceleration. So retrograde to target. Here we go. Do without the game freezing during a burn. Okay, here we go. So watching our relative speed to target, that's what really matters right now. It's actually looking pretty good. We're in orbit at least. Stop freezing. All right. Within 115 meters. That's pretty solid. That's not bad at all. Plus, we are safely in orbit, so that's not a concern, really. Wow. Yeah, not so bad. Okay, we're facing completely the wrong direction right now, and I need to flip around. But other than that... This direction tends to get kind of wonky. What I'm going to do, actually, real quick, I'm going to let the computer guide us to a prograde aiming. We're going to deorbit this crap section at the bottom. We're just going to rely on RCS at this point. RCS should be more than enough to accomplish what we want to accomplish. And if not, we just have some really expensive space debris. Who cares? So, we're going to take all this fuel, we're going to put it back into our little section. Come on. Wow, we have more than enough to fill it, too. That could be a problem. I'm gonna end up wasting fuel. I'm gonna be tempted now to try and dock with this on there for the first piece. I might do that, actually. For the experiment bay, I might go ahead and load that to the back of the science lab and... Wow, why is this freezing so much? I don't understand what the heck is going on here. .32 gigs of RAM, 6 cores, 12 threads, and you're stumped by Kerbal Space Program. Good job, little computer. I have faith in you. Alright. Yeah, let's try and do this. Let's try and dock this. Let's try and roll the station. Things that are cringeworthy. Rolling a space station with vehicles attached using reaction wheels. This just is hurting my brain. Granted, the real station uses little tiny thrusters, reaction wheels, or whatever it uses to keep itself aiming prograde, because otherwise it would not always aim prograde through an orbit. So International Space Station does it, we should be able to do it too. We're going to just cancel that roll. No, other way. This way a little bit. Try and point this dock to our buddy, the station upgrade kit down there. That's basically what it is, a station upgrade kit. Go. The laborious task of spinning the station to meet the craft instead of the other way around is complete. Did it serve any real purpose? Debatable. Now, do you want to aim towards the target? We are conveniently ever so slightly drifting towards. Okay. Docking mode. RCS. It's just a little closer. Oh, there we go. I can already see the dock that we want to aim for. Start lining us up for that. And then we'll dump as much fuel out of this as we can overall, just to lighten it up. The remaining maneuvers. This right now is looking pretty good, though. Nice and easy. So there's a lot of station hardware. I would hate to smash into something. We are getting this weird lag, which is really bothering me. I haven't had this any point before. I think it just doesn't like all these struts on this craft. Hopefully when we disengage the struts, it won't be so bad. Speaking of that, I should probably make sure auto strut is off on most of these. Because that can get kind of bad. That's what happened before with the Valentina Kerman station, I believe. I think that was the source of our Kraken strike. Seems to be looking pretty good. Might have to brake and just re-maneuver this a little bit because it is a little cockeyed here. Some gentle braking there. RCS now. Oop, SAS, I mean. Rotation. It's just a little more in line, at least with the station. That looks pretty good. That doesn't. Adjusting the wrong thing. So line that up. This is exactly why we need to get as much weight out of this as possible after this first maneuver, this first docking. This makes this kind of a difficult thing to accomplish. Okay, now we can go back to linear mode. We can take SAS off. We can go back to RCS mode. We can go just a little further in. Beautiful. Of course, it's just tilting us. So I guess we're going to be stuck using SAS during this docking maneuver. Ah, boy. I'm not probably looking anyway. This is not looking so bad. Okay. Back to linear. Let the RCS waste a little bit of fuel to keep us steady. Usually don't like to do that, but in this case it is pretty necessary. Get us going forward again so I can see where our prograde marker is relative to target. That's pretty dead on. Still coming out a little cockeyed, but you know, I think we are pretty good. Of course, this lights off the wrong. I was hoping that would be a little helpful. It's going the wrong direction though, for what we're doing right now. Okay, we just kill SAS. All right. Massive station. It's now pretty much lined up here. Screw it. Let's refuel this craft. A little bit of refueling. A little bit of game freezing. It's all gravy. Wow. I really don't know what's up with that. Transfer all that fuel over. Transfer that over. A lot of fuel left in this bottom stage. That surprises me. Don't really think there's a ton of places left for me to even throw fuel on the station. I think it's all topped off from before. Throw a little bit in the return craft. It's kind of goofy. So we won't be really reducing the weight of this very much. Any other spots where I could dump fuel? I'm fairly sure everything's at full fuel. Yep. Well, at least that that served as twofold. Oh, there we go. There's some place to dump fuel. served as twofold, where I can get all these extra parts up, and I'm also refueling at the same time. Not too shabby. It's always helpful to have extra fuel on the station. Now what I need to do aim camera this away, and we can disconnect from the external science bay. And again, that'll serve as a reserve docking port as well for the MUN transfer vehicle. Oh. We weren't even set to control this craft. So let's turn RCS off here. We do probably want SAS, huh? Alright. Actually, if I want to make this easy on myself, which I do, of course, let's flip back to the station. Let's roll the station some more. Make sure we don't clip anything here. Oh no, we're fine. So that the belly of the station, the nadir side, is facing the upgrade kit. Alright. Look at that. Almost in alignment already. Now. Set as target. Beautiful. Linear docking mode once more. Just gotta save ourselves from a little bit of drift. Nice and easy. Nice and easy. Didn't even need to drop the engine package yet. We'll do that in the next one. Not looking bad at all. Looking nice. Now, I had forgotten completely to actually test the clearances of this. Ah! Whoops. I'll check that later in the vehicle assembly building and just make sure before I launch anything that I'm not going to create an issue. But that should give me enough clearance for the solar panels, I hope, all the way around. I might switch those to like 2x3 panels instead, and then I'm definitely good. That could be a solution. That could be a solution. I'll check and see which we want to do later. So we're going to, once again, aim camera down here so I can actually see what's going on. Now the lights will be helpful. There we are. Actually see what's happening. And we are going to decouple this node. There we are. We've got a nice docking ring down there. which hopefully doesn't need to be extended away from the frame of the station. I really wish I had checked that beforehand. Whatever. Just to make sure that this doesn't go crazy on me, we're going to extend these solar panels. None of those line up, do they? They do. Disregard. Glad I put repackables. We're going to go aim prograde to orbit. We're finally going to eject this this booster down here that we no longer need, and send it off to go deorbit itself. Alright. We're going to go back to docking mode and linear and slow us down here. There we go. Now this should be a nice, easy one to try and dock. Set target. Control from here. Whoa! Okay. A little overpowered maybe for docking. Turn RCS off. Let's go back to rotation mode, swap us around. Okay. Back to linear. Back with RCS. There we go. So tiny. Didn't end up needing the solar panels at all, did I? So tiny, it doesn't know what to do. Okay. Actually looking quite good, isn't it? Oops, that was rude. So it didn't break anything. There we go. And there's our docking adapter, which definitely extends far enough for the solar panel. So we can put the Mooncraft next time. I'm not gonna bother undocking it now. There's no point. But next time we'll be able to dock there, and further reduce the clearance of the solar panels for the other craft. Why not? Why not? So yeah, this is gonna end up switching. I think I'm gonna end up doing the 2x3 panels, and then we won't have an issue there. All right, now collectively as a station. Go back to controlling from here. We can go back to aiming prograde. And then we'll start unpacking some of that lovely science and letting the boys in the lab work on it. This has just turned into a an elegant monstrosity. This is starting to rival Bro Lab from my 2014 season. Back in the days with science only, not worrying about funding. Here I was going into a funding campaign all this time thinking, wow, now I have to worry about money, this is going to be difficult, I will never have anything like this again. And here we are with a station that rivals it. And another space station around the moon. Long term, though, will actually be cost efficient. So there's that. Okay, let's aim camera down here. Let's review some of these science goodies. Throw that in the lab. Throw that in the lab. Throw that in the lab. Now we're talking. Boys are already working on something like this. So that kind of stinks. Oh, there we go. We're getting 1.13 science a day now. Things are coming together for the Jebediah Kerman Memorial Station, huh? Looking good. Look at that. So we've still got fuel docking nodes at the front. The center node, I'll probably keep this as a reserve on there. But I will be able to now launch up to 6 of these docking craft to connect at a time, plus a 7th port in reserve. We'll have a dedicated docking port, a nose docking port for the moon launch vehicle here. Looking pretty good. It's like a little city in space. Let's check on our Munlander. See how it's doing. Oh, it's still got a little while till it's in range there. Now we do need to send up more crew. Start getting ready to have a full crew for the moon transfer vehicle. So we're going to take another one of the CLVCs on expedition. Like I said, I'm going to have to change those solar panels. So I'm going to do that first before I forget. Just so we don't have any nasty incidents. how much more the repackables are as well. Don't need to save that. That's not going to be one I ever use again, I don't think. That was kind of a unique situation. Alright, let's pull those solar panels off. Let's see. So the 3x2 is obviously the same. Only 60 credits more for the repackable. So they weigh more. They do. They weigh twice as much. That's the deal breaker. Those are pretty small. That shouldn't be an issue. Just see here for a second. To take the autosaved ship that we just had, right? Let's take all of this junk off and let's actually test this the way I had intended to test this before launching. Got some game breaking going on right now. There we go. Yeah. So, yeah, those will hit the station. Those are too long. However, the 3x2s. A minute to think. There we go. Yeah, those will have no problem. Those won't even have an opportunity to hit each other. So we're going to be switching to the 3x2s. Excellent. No idea why those are on the same. That's weird. Do that, and then these, then that, and parachutes. Weird. Alright, let's pick a crew. Actually, it's pretty much the crew they just had. Newstead. Since he does not have his first star yet. Maybe won't mix Bill and Bob on the same mission. That might get kind of scary. But I will send Bob up to go work in the lab. And that means I need a different engineer. Well, Nedbo as a scientist is looking pretty good. Let's see. We've got Debdorf and Neski. It's Neski. Alright. Let's roll this sucker out. So we'll call this episode more station madness on the YouTube channel, because this is getting ridiculous. Definitely the stations are going to be well equipped though. That's not going to be an issue. It's doing that weird graphical glitch again. I don't know what's going on with that. Okay, the station's coming up more or less into position. We'll just time warp it until it's in a better spot. I'll get it a little closer this time. About there. Last time we ended up a little ahead of it on the last rocket. Alright. Off we go. Now it does dawn on me as we're launching this that I never set up an abort sequence, so I'm going to have to go ahead and figure that out later. Just, you know, rather be safe than sorry with the crew vehicle. So I'm up to the 10,000 meter mark. Especially since in this case we have a crew vehicle inside of a fairing. That could get ugly to try and abort properly. Without an abort sequence already set. Go, there's first stage. Follow rate a little bit. Almost out of the atmosphere. At that point I'll be ditching the fairing. High enough. Fairing staged. I was just looking for that intercept. We do need to go just a little bit of a inclination correction with the station. I think the station might actually be slightly off inclination. I think that might be what the issue is. I goofered that, huh? Let's just get into a reasonable intersect here. Focus on that first. So orbit plus intersect. Right there is pretty good, and then we can work on tweaking it. At least would get us into space, into orbit, into orbit. Definitely feel like I made the right choice. As far as, wow, this is going to be a long burn. Well. Just kind of, wow. Start burning there. Anyway, what I was starting to say is, I feel like I really made the right choice in terms of, stable altitude for the station. Makes it nice and easy to dock with. How underpowered this craft is does scare me at times. LCS to assist it. Disable the RCS for a second. These two off. Forward by throttle. Now I can turn it back on. There we go. Yeah, this is really an underwhelmingly powered craft. It is cheap though. It is very cheap. And it is just gently sipping fuel at the moment. Well, there's orbit. I'll be disabling the monoprop side of this pretty soon. Well, I'll try to keep a decent amount of it. Plenty of liquid fuel on the station as well to refuel this in case I do need it for the return to the D-orbit. I don't anticipate that being a necessity. Excellent. Nice, easily controllable craft. And now that we're in orbit, our pilot is skilled enough to aim retrograde and prograde. So let's ditch this maneuver. Let's see what our actual intersects look like, which look nothing like what we were expecting. Primarily because of the massive difference in inclination. So let's start working on that. Alright, that'll give us the correct inclination. Okay. That'll give us the right timing, more or less. .1. Yeah, that'll put us on point. So we will have a maneuver coming up. 22-second burn for this little craft. Crew looks awful comfy though. Our first engineer up on the station. I think think our first engineer in space. Or at least our first engineer that we put in space instead of having to recover from space. Time warp us out to the next maneuver. There's a station out in front of us. So this is mostly inclination change, a little bit of radial change. Not too bad. Just not very powerful engines to try and accomplish this with. Correction. That didn't work in our favor, did it? It's alright, our maneuver is still gonna come up to a 0.1 intersect at the end of the day. And that's what we wanted. How's our lander doing? Oh, it's still got a little bit of time. Keep watching that, because that's gonna be our next big maneuver. We'll be able to warp here. Give me an idea of how much we really need to change there. So like 40 meters a second there, that took us 20 seconds to correct. So this is going to take us like 30 seconds to correct. So basically we need to start. Give it a second while it loads the station. About 15 seconds away from this maneuver node is where I'm going to want to go retrograde to target. As we barrel in, actually quite fast. Pretty good. Looking good. Looking good. Just glide a little bit more into position. Easy peasy. Cancel our movement to target. Absolute zero, I love it. A little down in the way of the target here. Just light pulses. Just a little closer on liquid fuel. Oh, poop. This says the 2-parachute version. Why is this the 2-parachute version? Why did that not save the 3-parachute version? Oh, boy. This could be interesting. It's okay, guys. It'll be alright. I did test it. It did land fine with 2. But that was with an empty pod. I don't know if Kerman add any extra weight. If they do, that might not be nice. Okay, this is going to be our target, I think. We look like we're pretty in line for that one. This we're going to control from here. We're going to switch over to docking mode, rotation mode. Line up our angle. And we can go to linear. RCS. Now this handles RCS like a dream. At least as far as I remember. Look how smooth that is. Wow. Easy. Of course, I did do this in the wrong rotation. So let's undock. I goofered that. There we go. Line the solar panels up the way they're supposed to be lined up. Now we're heading for a good dock. Forgot about the whole solar panel thing. That's better. Just gonna auto strut this as well. Keep that from wobbling so much. Maybe I should let that settle a little bit more before I do that. Can't really tell if it's kind of cockeyed a little bit there, but that's fine. We got more crew aboard. So let's see. Let's start transferring crew. Bob is going to want a seat in the science lab, so I'm going to take one of our scientists out. Ronner and Cabin. I forget who has the better... Let's see, vessel science return... Let me see. ...105. versus Cabin. 105. So it doesn't really matter. They're about the same. We'll go by endurance to suggest which is better. So Ronner will transfer out. And he'll just go to one of the crew modules. Bob will transfer down to the science lab. At least I think anyway. Yep, we got Bob in there. And that still leaves Nesky and Newstead. Let's see, is this one? Yep, that one's already got 2 in it. I know I can have more, but I'm going to spread them out a little bit. I'll let these guys... Newstead. Well, you could just spend time in the science wing if he wants. But I'll let them sit in the crew compartment. Nesky as well. There we go. No crew there. No crew there. Perfect. We can send up one more crew capsule, and that will get us ready for Moon Expedition. Just once again aim the station prograde. It does irk me a little bit. I just want the station to just constantly aim prograde. I wish it would do that even when the camera wasn't on it, so to speak. This is looking good. This is actually really good. We got plenty of places to dock crew craft. We have a reliable crew craft at orbit here. At least so far it's been reliable. I am a little worried about the whole 2 parachute thing. Like, that might just be a constant reserve craft. And I think I might take this one down instead. I thought this was going to be my reserve craft, but I'm thinking not. Let's see. Oh. I got this all flipped around. This is actually on the zenith. And this is on the nadir side. Not a big deal. I did think I was going to be docking on the nadir side, but it's all gravy boat. That would be where craft traditionally dock on, say, like a station in orbit. But there's exceptions, of course. Very many exceptions, actually, but just the preferred, from what I can tell. Not that there's any actual logic to that. I don't know. I can't. Nothing I know of, anyway, that would suggest that that would be what you'd want to do. All right. Not bad. Looking pretty good. Had a lot of stuff go under the station today. How are we doing on time? Well, we're not doing so bad. Might launch another crew craft here. peek away for a minute here. Collect debris from the launch pad. Forget it. Let's launch it again. Need to correct those parachutes and save it. There will always be some crew on there, so there will always be a need for a reserve craft. So, unlike real life where you have to worry about how long the craft is in space, you don't really have to worry about that in Kerbal. So I will just leave that a permanent reserve, knowing that it's probably functional. It's probably fine. But just to make me feel better, basically. Just to help my paranoia. Alright. Now we need to launch another crew. Alright, let's see. We haven't had any female pilots up, I don't think. Out of those two lots. So we'll take Eiffel up. So she does pretty good. 6.3 Gs. Nedbo is a pretty experienced scientist. Bill up. That leaves us a decent amount of pilots, an engineer, a pair of scientists. Oh yeah, I need to set up an abort sequence. So on an abort sequence, we would want to kill the shroud, decouple, shut down all engines, decouple those radial, these won't provide much thrust at all. So really, I could probably get rid of this even to decouple that, and instead decouple this. Okay. Now brakes will be to deploy our chutes. That should do us. So we do at least have an abort sequence. We just need to abort and then brake. What is the actual trigger key for brakes, I wonder? Probably be faster just to use the little mouse command, but all right. total of 9 crew up on the station if we do this quickly. Missed our window for the station. Let's just watch it come around once more. Sure, our lander isn't coming up on its rendezvous. We're able to do a lot in Kerbin orbit and the time it takes to do many other things. Even just going to the moon, we can get quite a few launches in here. Reusable lander is now in radio contact with the Munsat system. That's good. Make a very smooth handoff. We're now good to launch here. Our third crew to the station. I almost like want to create mission patches for these guys. They make me so proud. Separation there. This is the most dangerous part of our flight. So when we have those solids attached, there's no way to shut them down. Over. So you get a little bit of rotation now with this craft, which is weirding me out. Wasn't used to that. Always a fight at this stage. I need to figure out what the auto strut would be to make it not do that. There we go. Next stage looks good. It's very good. Let's level that out. About to escape atmosphere. Should be safe to deploy our fairing. Whoop. RCS off. Don't need the RCS. That freaked me out. For a second I thought I messed up my staging, but it was just the RCS that I triggered to help with throttle. Cancel forward by throttle on this one. Cancel forward by throttle on that one. So those ones face the solar panels. On where our potential intersect would be. Not too shabby. We'll just have to do the same kind of maneuver as last time. So our final orbit. Final orbit. Looks actually pretty close. So we're already fairly close there. We'll just have to do our correction at the ascending node. So we can combine our maneuvers and get us perfect inclination. Although it looks like we're pretty close anyway to correct inclination. This is going to tell us we have an absurdly long burn. Exactly the same amount of time as last time. So this is almost scripted at this point. 2 minutes and 26 seconds. Let's go ahead and let's deploy these solar panels. So we got power. Orbit tracking. This time we'll be able to track prograde. Since Eiffel's already been in orbit before. Knows what she's doing. Very little fuel left in this thing. I'll have to cut right over to the Craft's engines. So at 1 minute 13 seconds. Here you go, Eiffel. Stay on target. 1 minute 13 seconds away from the node is where I will kick it on. And we'll start going full throttle. And if last time is any indication, which it seems to be, everything seems to be lining up pretty close, we'll probably have another correction to do. That's not a big deal. Stage now. Stage. That makes that booster fall back down the curve, so that's always welcome. However, there's just still a lot of delta V to close with just very weak engines. I could be putting Twitch engines on these because I have unlocked those, but they're a little weak. Well, not compared to these. Well, they're expensive compared to these. Since this whole section does get thrown away, and I'm trying to reduce cost. Is going to be our technique. Probably should have been doing that from the beginning. We are in orbit. We're going to parry apps up now. Only 3 more monopropelled than we did last time. I'm going to cut that off. Ourselves 30 minutes. Should be more than sufficient. Correction still. Overdid it just a little bit. A little more correction. Good enough. Wow, we're way off. Okay, that's cool. Sending node. First order of business. Correcting our inclination. So there we go. We'll match our inclination to the station now. Now our orbit's just a little meh. A little not good. Need to catch back up to the station. Which inevitably means dropping our perigee, which can be dangerous if we don't do it correctly. However, we are, again, fairly high target orbit, which I'm very glad that I did. So we should be pretty well lined up. So work on the radial changes here. That's right where we want to be. Right there. So that's the maneuver we want to do. 14-second burn this time. Not as much as last time, so that part's good. So we'll have to time warp into 7 seconds from our maneuver. Double check all my stuff here. Yep, periap's still way high. That should be no problem. Fantastic. So we'll time warp in. As we play catch up with the station. Oh, too much. Too much. Time warp didn't exactly stop when I thought it was going to. Okay. So it gave us a 1 meter. Let's make some smaller adjustment here. Calls that a 0-second burn time. Well, it probably would have been if I had just done that correction instead of removing the node. Which would have been smart, you know. Happens. I'm gonna wait till right on the money. Perfect. Yep, gives us a 0.1. How's our lander doing? Usable lander's looking good. Let's actually switch to it real quick, because I still need to eject the boost stage on it, and I would rather do that before it gets into the moon encounter to make sure that it deorbits back to Kerbin, since it already has a low periaps. A lot of thinking all at once there. So aim is prograde. Okay, so prograde, heading towards wherever the moon is, right there. How far until it gets to 1 hour? And that's where I'm going to want to deorbit the booster. And he has a very high periaps, and that worries me. This might actually be the time to do that to the booster and ditch the booster. It's a tough call. Let's do it. Okay, nice. It is definitely heading right back to Kerbin. It's not even gonna have a perigee at all. It's negative perigee. So that was well maneuvered, as it seems. I understand some of the logic there, but I was mostly guessing. So I'm kind of happy that that worked out. Let's focus back on Kerbin, please. Oh, Jesus. On Kerbin. Kerbin. So many things. All the things. Well, so that is our... Fun. So with the timing as it is, I might go ahead and get the lander into an actual Mun orbit today as well. This is going to switch me shortly over to target tracking. Yep, target tracking. As we approach... Actually, seems like we're gonna not be so bad in terms of correction here. 28 seconds away. We need to start braking now, actually. We're 67 meters a second. So, full throttle. Help with the RCS a little bit as well. That's a lot of slowing down to do. Let's get a little closer. Just at 10 meters a second. Reduced to 5 meters a second. Nice, careful approach. Let's go for a full stop. Full stop. All right. Now, rather conveniently, set one of these docks as target. Control from the aft port. Spin us around. Over to docking mode, linear, and take us on in. Approach at about 3 meters a second. That actually might be a little much. Let's do 2 meters a second. It takes a while to accelerate with this thing. Which means it also takes a while to decelerate. RCS-wise, these things are a dream. These may not be the best craft to get into orbit. They might not have a lot of power to them, but man, are they good with RCS. Just beautiful to fly, and for RCS wise. It's like they're the right weight and the right power. It's glorious. Look at that. That's a beautiful dock. That craft is a keeper. But alright, we're working on our radial docking there. It's looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and start transferring some crew. Got our pilot. Can go take a break in one of the crew modules. Nedbo, you know, he'll want to be checking out the lab, although there's no room for him in there, so you can just be in the extended part of the lab. I don't know why the lights just turned off. Lights on, please. There you go. Okay, Bill. Bill's our engineer. Throw him in with the other crew module. Got a lot of Kerman on board now. We got 9 total on the Jebediah Kerman station. Let it auto track prograde again. We can go ahead and we can shut down all these engines, so we don't have any of those accidentally go off. As weak as those ones are, still would not be fun. There we are. Very nice indeed. We got a lot of Kerman up there. Let's go check on the lander. We'll get ready to put this into a moon orbit. Maybe we can bring it back over to the station. Let's just see how we do. See how the mood takes us. So we're almost ready to send that, or we pretty much are ready to send the moon transfer vehicle over to the moon. So we're going to control from here. Just going to switch us around because we're going to activate this engine. Time warp here. Perigy's in 3 hours. Wow. Just out of curiosity, do we have anything else going on in the Space Center? No new contracts. We do have a lot already to try and do. I'm gonna save this real quick. Just because I'm a little worried with all the lag. We're gonna end up losing something. Okay, no new contracts to worry about. Let's switch back to Moonlander. Time warp that in. All right. Last part of the night. Let's get this reusable lander to the moon space station. Like hyping myself up to actually still do this. Be the fourth docking maneuver with the station we'll be doing tonight. It's making me really glad I saved. There we go. So let's see, we want to time warp to periaps, although this isn't really going to let us do that, is it? So we're going to warp here instead. And then once we're on a moon encounter, it should let us. That is a very warped looking encounter. There we go. So on periaps. Bring us into orbit. We'll do our inclination change after we've got a semicircular orbit. So we're up there. We got a 15-second burn time. That's not so bad. So we can warp in pretty close to this maneuver. Not too much worry. Yeah, we could definitely warp that a little closer. Whoop, too far. Okay, that's fine. 7 seconds away from the node is where we'll start burning. And go. So the lander and lander harness is what I'm calling it. It's really the lander docking module. Looking pretty good. To get on their way to the Mun station. Overdid it. Overdid it. It's not really important that I correct this. But I did it anyway. Now, circular orbit. Now we need to figure out how do we encounter the station. Well, first off, let's set it as a target so we can get our descending node. We need to do a burn at descending node anyway. Yeah, we're going to need to do quite a bit there. So picky. Okay. Fine. Good. Wonderful. There. That should be a 0. Yep. 0. And we're also going to bring our perigee way down. We'll be on opposite sides of the moon when that happens. That's not fun. Okay, so let's leave that up. That's closer. That is looking good. What's the major change? Still inclination at that point. That'll still need inclination correction. That's interesting. Didn't see that coming. Nope, that's making it worse again. Oh, add it. Almost there. 0.5 looks like is the closest we can manage with that. I might take 0.5. I mean, we're going to have to adjust this again anyway. That's 0.4. We're going to have to adjust that again anyway as we get this first maneuver done. I doubt it's going to go exactly perfect. So next maneuver is a 5-second maneuver. Let's warp pretty close to there. The rest way in here. So it'll be between 3 and 2 seconds before node when I actually ignite the engine. Almost there. Might have overdone it there. Want this to be just right so our next node doesn't get impacted too much. Yep, next node still reads as 0.4, so that's good. Time warp the extra hour in. Second burn. So I'll wait till between 4 and 3 seconds to ignite the engine. small amount of correction. Oh, overdid it. I overdid that at the smallest throttle setting, but okay. Better. Now its actual intersection will be 0.7, so we need to fix that just a little bit. Which is the area in which it's goofy. It's goofy in radial, so I'm going to try and fix that manually with no maneuver node. Nope, wrong way. Other one. Other one. That's better. Still have our probe core B, which might eventually get over this temperature scan. We might even get over that temperature scan. No, I guess not. I realize I put the station in a weird inclination. I guess it doesn't really matter. It just means the station will cover more landmass, if you think about it, of the moon, since it's not tilted on an axis. But, still though. It does bother me a little bit. Although I think that might not have been the case when I started. I think that might have been from the explosion. So time warping towards our target. It should switch us over to target tracking. Yep, right as I said it. Beautiful. And we will autopilot retrograde to target. Not a lot of correction either. Well, not so bad. We just had the station in sight. Where is it? There you go. And they're below us. Yep. I'll be approaching it quickly. We'll only need a few seconds, probably, to correct this. .200 meters a second of delta V took us, what, 7 seconds? So this should take us maybe 3, 2 to 3. Spitballing that number. Could just memorize the thrust levels on this. That would require actual thought, you know. It's, I mean, that's something I'm very good at, is actually thinking. We're not at any risk of accidentally hitting the station, that's for sure. So I don't have to worry about waiting till the last minute here. Approaching rapidly. Waiting for that 3-second mark. Yep, pretty good. Pretty adequate. So we've almost got the lander to its new base of operations. Still quite a lot of fuel on it. Still has a decent amount of monoprop. I mean, actually a really good amount of monoprop, doesn't it? Almost 100 units of monoprop. And we'll have to figure out where its new home is on the station. if all goes according to plan, this one vehicle will get us a lot of science over the course of very many landings, hopefully. Oop, too much. Too much. Let's thrust limit this way down. This is more precise maneuvering at this point. Okay. Let's do just a little bit of direct aiming at the station. Don't need to go too crazy with it. Maybe about 3 meters a second should do. I can have the core autopilot back to retrograde the target. We'll be able to zero ourselves out for our final rendezvous maneuver. And we'll work on docking. So tomorrow's stream, we'll be picking a crew for the moon transfer vehicle and bringing them over. We'll have to work out a landing site for one of the scientists and send them down on the lander. Ah, yeah, I need to try and dock to this ring, I think, over here. I think that's what I decided was the forward ring would be the, craft docking. We did end up in an alternate configuration for the station. So it's not the configuration I originally intended, so it does kind of confuse me a little bit sometimes. Courtesy of a Kraken strike and several explosions. I had intended to replace the 2 core pieces with updated core pieces, partly because the contract wouldn't allow me to complete the station with the ones I had, and partly because they had some upgraded parts. However, Kerbal Space Program had other ideas. So we ended up reusing one of the old both of the old modules, and one of the new modules was destroyed, as well as one of the fuel tanks. So we only have the older. I'm just like struggling to control this for the moment. We only have the older science module. We don't have the newer science module that I intended. And we have an extra core module, which I didn't intend. Just at that point, it was kind of a, well, I might as well, rather than deorbiting it. So our core modules here and here. This is the old one, this is the new. So we just went ahead and docked this assembly right where the new science module was before it was destroyed. We had another fuel tank here as well. That was destroyed. With a full load of fuel, no less. That was really frustrating. At the moment, I think we can do just fine. So you want to dock this on the nadir side. So I actually want to aim... Nope, not that way. Aim down. this up. Okay, now RCS docking on this should be pretty good. This was designed specifically to dock well. So hopefully that's the case. Whoop. Let's not do that. Let's not do that thing I just did. I thought I was in docking mode. Alright, let's bring that back. There we go. Now we're gonna go to docking mode. Now we're gonna go to RCS. Now we're gonna head over to the station. So I can pretty much just do eyeballing. Didn't take it out of rotational. Might actually be slightly overpowered RCS. There we go. Nope, 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 nope. Don't do that, 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 don't do that. Okay. Alright. 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 We got some weirdness. We got a Kraken strike. Orbit's still good. Alright. Okay. Open, please. Control from here. That's some weirdness. Stability assist. Straighten us out. Let's see if we can counter this. I don't know why this is doing this. It is auto strut. Son of a gun. So this is what happens when you overuse auto strut. Future reference for everyone. Okay. Nope, don't do that. Don't do that, please. Okay. Alright. Okay. We are slowly appeasing the Kraken. Alright. Is there just a mass disable button for auto strut maybe? Oh my god. I think we have mostly appeased the Kraken. This is still a little wonky. Thought we were gonna have another explosion. I don't know. Something here is auto-strutted still. Okay. All right. We lost another fuel tank. I didn't even catch that. It just like sheared off. God, are you kidding me here? Somehow this completely twisted as well. Wow. That is just all kinds of bizarre. Well, let's transfer over any monoprop. I'm going to end up dropping this tank controller. And I'm going to take the liberty of terminating that. I usually do not terminate anything in the map window. But seeing as this is going to be yet another bug-induced loss, I'm going to allow it. I think Valentina's haunting this station, since it is her namesake. Just bizarre. So now that'll be 2 more fuel tanks that we need to get up onto the station to bring it up to full. Oh boy. I think this is the one I tried to drain, isn't it? Well, no. It has a decent amount, I guess. I might do one more fuel tank over here before the transfer vehicle, just to make sure that we have that bug worked out. Because if I send that crew vehicle over and it decides to self-destruct, I'm going to start losing Kerman. And I will not be a happy man. Alright, that's all the fuel out of this thing. Double check it, make sure. Since it has a probe core. I'm giving myself permission to delete this one. It's bad enough I gotta launch a whole other fuel tank. I'll have to see if the debris from the tank itself is out there and delete that as well. I didn't hear an explosion. So that piece just completely sheared off. Maybe more modest fuel tankers is the answer here. New contracts. Let's go here. Well, I'm just glad we managed to eventually appease the Kraken. Okay, delete me is getting terminated. Yep, we have debris from the station on a incredibly different inclination and altitude. What on earth? That got flung out. I think this is slowly screwing up the station's orbit as well. I'll have to check back on that. I'm just going to check this out and then go back to the tracking center. Just want to see how much I really lost for fuel units. See how angry I should be. Wouldn't have been so bad if it just undocked as part of that, if it actually pulled apart at the dock. Because it has... that piece I ejected and deleted was a drone core with its own RCS. So, if that had completely detached at the dock, I could have redocked it. Yeah, that's a lot of fuel. Like it's almost 800 units of fuel. Ah, that stinks. Well, I guess we won't be sending a ship over tomorrow after all. We'll be sending over refuelers. Again, partially to actually refuel, because I do want the fuel there, even though it was originally for the contract. But really, the majority of that's going to be just testing to make sure the station doesn't wobble itself apart every time I connect something to it. That's not the second time in a row it did that. We have reusable lander debris as well. That's not good. Well, that's been there for a long time. I'll check on that one. Yep. So station's up here, debris down here. Kill the debris. Where's this reusable lander debris? Okay, yeah, that's part of the booster. That's fine. That's heading back. Look at all the debris we have. This should be burning up in the atmosphere. How do I have so much Lunar Explorer debris? What was this? Pieces from the Lunar Explorer vehicle. Don't remember what these were. Why there would be like 4 of them. That's pieces of fairing. That'd be pretty lame. That might be pieces of fairing. What is that? Oh, it's a strut. Oh. Well, that's no bueno. Oh, at least we didn't lose any functional parts of the the Valentina Kerman station this time. I think that's where I'm going to call it a night. I might switch over to the Jebediah station and just start disabling autostrut on everything I can think to disable autostrut. I just don't know what was really messing with the Val station, the Valentina Kerman station. I don't know what's making it do that weird wobbliness where the Jeb station hasn't had that problem at all yet. But if it does, it's going to be way more tragic because I've got a lot of Kerman on there. So let's switch over to it. And that'll be the last thing I do before I log off. I keep saying that, but this time I mean it. So Jebediah Kerman Memorial Station. On its only 10th day in orbit. It is massive. Hopefully the process of disabling these doesn't cause any undue wobble in the meantime. Which was a way to just like whole vehicle disable autostrut. I don't know if there is. Maybe there is. But I wonder if there was just like something kind of wobbled out of place when I enabled autostrut on the valve station and it like had like a spring tension to it? I really don't know. Auto strut disabled. Auto strut disabled. Start looking for anything I might have strutted here. Auto strut locked. Don't know what that means. That's right, that's a fairing. Auto strut locked. Auto strut locked. I don't know why all those are auto strut locked. I don't know what that means. But at least it's only their grandparent part. Auto strut locked. Why auto strut locked? Okay, well, I think I got most everything. So I'll just make sure anything new I'm putting on has no auto strut. I think that's going to be the important part. I think as long as that's the case, I might be good. But okay. One big step forward, one tiny step back for the Valentina Kerman station. Having that lander there is a big deal. Jebediah station's in much better shape. We look great for the Jebediah Kerman station. This is ready to rock and roll. So now we just got to figure out getting more fuel onto the Valentina Kerman station. So, at that point, guys, that's it for tonight. Thanks everyone for watching, who watched. If you did miss anything and you want to catch it, or you want to catch any of our older episodes, check them out on youtube.com/dudeicalledyoubro. They're updated usually the day after we stream. Usually the next day they're on there. But thanks again, guys, and good night.